Where are you? It is the first question that God has ever asked. We are early in the book of Genesis here. Creation is still fresh from God's hands. And the humans in the garden have just had their first taste of the forbidden fruit. And God goes strolling in the garden in the evening breeze. And he calls Adam, but Adam does not come running, as he has in past evenings. And so God, like any anxious parent, calls, "Where are you?" Why does God need to ask this question? No matter, why does God need to ask any question? I mean, we're talking about God here. Doesn't God know where Adam is? But God, like any anxious parent, calls, "Where are you?" In the very next part of the story, which wasn't included in this reading, Adam replies, "I'm hiding." There's something sort of endearingly childlike about that response. He's hiding, why answer at all? I'm reminded of a friend's daughter who, when I was visiting him, she sneaked into the kitchen to steal a cookie. Talk about forbidden fruit. She sneaked into the kitchen, and my friend heard the sound of her dragging a chair across the kitchen floor to the counter. And my friend said, "Do you need any help in there?" And his daughter replied, his little girl said, "No, don't come in, because I'm not supposed to do this." God calls, "Where are you?" And Adam, God's child, replies, "I'm hiding." He's hiding because he feels ashamed of himself. Maybe he's afraid that God will be ashamed of him too. Later on in the story, God will call out to other of his children, calling them by name: Abraham, Jacob, Moses, Samuel. And in each of those cases, the person who calls responds eagerly, "I am here." Samuel is so eager that he pops out of bed in the middle of the night. "I am here." That must be what God was expecting that evening in the garden. That he would call, "Adam, Adam," and that Adam would joyfully reply, "I am here." But Adam cannot bring himself to say those words. Sometimes here is a hard place to be. Padraig, in his book In the Shelter, recalls reading an old National Geographic magazine article by a photojournalist who grew up in Papua New Guinea. And she says that in the language of her youth, this is the National Geographic reporter, said that in the language of her youth, there was no word for hello. Instead, upon seeing someone, one said simply, "You are here." The equally straightforward reply was, "Yes, I am." Tuama writes, "For decades, I have thought of the words 'you are here' and 'yes, I am' as good places to begin something that might be called prayer." It occurs to me that "yes, I am" is a possible translation of the 4 letters that make up the name of God in the Hebrew Scriptures. Now that greeting, "you are here," may seem the most self-evident of greetings, but they are also the missing key to every map. I once took a wilderness backpacking course in the mountains of Wyoming, and for most of the trip we were accompanied by wilderness instructors, but on the last leg of the journey they left us to navigate on our own, while they took a different route to the next campsite. We had a detailed topographical map to follow, but at some point we realized we had drifted from our intended course, and we were not where we had thought we were. Maybe some of us have felt like that lately. We had drifted from our intended course, and we were not where we had thought we were. We had the map, but we were missing the key to the map. So two of our somewhat more experienced members offered to climb a little higher to get a better view of the lay of the land. And when they returned, they spread out the map, and they pointed, and they said, "Okay, we think you are here." Happily, they were right, because, I am here now. As we now navigate the world by GPS, we no longer worry about reading our surroundings. Our smartphones tell us, "You are here." But the irony of this is that we no longer need to look up and actually take stock of where we are. Parents can use their phones to track their kids. Kids can use their phones to track their parents. My own parents lacked such technology when my sister and I were teenagers, and my mom would send us out the door into the streets of New York with the words, "Call if you change your location." She said it so predictably that it is still sort of a running joke in our family. Call if you change your location. It was just one of her many ways of saying, "I love you." My mom has been gone for over 27 years now, and I still have the urge to pick up the phone and tell her where I am. The GPS is a poor substitute for the voice of our beloved calling, "I am here." There is, after all, so much more to our location than can be conveyed by a pin on the map. The app may inform our loved ones where we are, but not what is happening to us there. When God calls out to Elijah, in Elijah's moment of despair, God asks not, "Where are you?" but, "Elijah, what are you doing here?" In American culture, we greet one another usually not by saying, "Here you are," or "You are here," but by saying, "How are you?" And most of the time, we dodge that question. It's not always easy to describe the place where we find ourselves at any given moment. It's one thing to announce your change of address when you buy your first home. It's an entirely different thing to announce your change of address when you have separated from your spouse. It's one thing to announce the birth of a child. But who do we tell about a miscarriage or an abortion? Whom do we tell that our location has changed? To whom can we say, "I am here"? The words of Padraig Tuama again. He writes, "What I do know is that it can help to find the words to tell the truth of where you are now. If you can find the courage to name here, especially in the place where you do not wish to be, it can help you be there. Instead of resenting another's words of gladness or pain, it may be possible to hear it as simply another location. They are there. You are here. At another point, we will be in different locations, and everybody will pass by many locations in their life. The pain is only deepened when the location is resented, or worse, unnamed. this book, he puts it this way: to deny here is to harrow the heart. The truth is, sometimes we would rather not be here. And yet the truth is, here we are. We are here, and here is precisely the location where we will find grace. It is as good a place as any to begin prayer. And so we ask, are you here? And we listen for God's answer, which is always, yes, I am.